Hello everybody. Sorry to interrupt your conversations, but we want to broaden the conversation a little bit. Feel free, of course, to continue eating. My name is Neil Donahue. I'm the Vice Provost for Undergraduate Academic Affairs, and I want to welcome you all to the Peer Teacher Luncheon. And thank you for getting here today, for walking over to what has become our new location, which we're happy about. But I know it was sort of problematic because of the change in schedule, so a fair number of people couldn't make it today because of conflicts. As you know, when you have an event in a common hour, and then there's a snowstorm on a Wednesday, as beautiful as that was for all of us, it causes havoc in scheduling. So I just want to thank you for making it, and maybe we can give a shout out and a round of applause to Lisa and Allison, who met and vanquished all of the scheduling challenges. And then further, of course, I want to thank all of you peer teachers for everything you do in the classroom and with your professor. You've received a gift card today, and after the term, of course, you'll get a check from us. And these are, sort of needless to say, small tokens of our appreciation, but I want you to know that our appreciation goes much deeper and farther than that, and that's why we have this luncheon. So thank you very much. And also to the professors who are your mentors. We want to thank all of them for what they do. We really appreciate the commitment that both parties show to this relationship, because Hofstra has always prided itself on the close cooperation, collaboration of faculty and students, the intense engagement and commitment. And that crossover gets more intense with this particular peer-teacher relationship, that faculty are learning from students, students from faculty, and you're all engaged in teaching others in the classroom. So thank you very much for all of that. So what we want to do, as usual, is basically nothing scripted. We're just opening the discussion to allow you to make comments about your experience, challenges that you've had, rewards that you've had, describe a little bit of what you do, and this is for both the mentors and the students, of course. So, who would like to get us started? Anybody want to? Oh, Jason, very good. How you doing? All right, good to see you. We'll check to see that.
Hello. Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Baladre.
You can stand up.
Beautiful.
It'll project. Actually, let me ask you to say your name, where you're from, your major, and who you're working with in what field.
Wonderful. So my name is Jason Baladre. I'm a double major in drama and psychology, and I'm from out of Syracuse, New York. I'm a peer teacher for Jennifer Hart, who's sitting right here, and I teach the musical theater performance class, which is part of the musical theater minor. This is one of two classes in the musical theater minor that focuses on actually getting out and performing. And this class focuses on, once you're cast in a show, how can you develop a character and kind of keep that character consistent while you have to stand there on the stage and sing. So how the class is structured is that we have about 11, 12 students, 13 students. And we'll start this semester with a really interesting assignment where we ask the students to bring in a video of what they think is the best musical theater performance in history. What this does is it allows everyone to see what other people think is the best and also talk about what's common between all of them, which is, I think, a really good way to start the semester. And then throughout the semester, we work on solos, so every student has a solo that they have to do, and then we move on to duets and larger groups, and then also do a group number at the end. And at the end of the semester, the students have to present all of them that they've worked on throughout the semester. So how Professor Hart has incorporated me into that is I also play the piano, and I've been doing music theater for a long time. So she'll be working with the students in one room, and she'll send me off to another room with a piano, and I'll play through the songs with the students and work on the musical aspects of it. We don't focus a lot on voice in the class because it's not a music class, it's more focused on the acting. But this gives a chance for the students to work on any vocal issues they're having, or really learn how to tell the story through the music, which is something that I really appreciate doing because I want to be a music director in the theater after I graduate, so this is exactly the kind of stuff that I'll be doing. So it's been a really good experience so far, and I'm thankful that my professor has allowed me to do the things that help me most and will help me as I go on in my field.
Okay, thank you, Jason. We set a high bar here for stage presence, and we have a stage here, so maybe we'll start working over the semesters on Peer Teacher, the musical. Jason, are you okay. Next. I should put on my blindfold and just walk around. Someone actually had in class.
Hello everyone, my name is Cole Passiata. I'm a psychology major, and I'm TAing for Dr. Clayton in her freshman seminar, CSI Psychology. The better title that Dr. Clayton likes to give it is What Psychologists Can Teach Lawyers. So that's much more descriptive. We go through a lot of starting off with legal terms that everyone kind of understands what we're looking at, and then we go into case studies and specific instances in which the legal system has flaws, such as eyewitness testimony, things of that nature that psychology has shown doesn't really work too well, and why that can be corrected. So yeah, that's the gist of it.
So are you profiling lawyers?
A little bit.
A little bit?
You don't like to admit that.
That's sort of a scary prospect. Thank you, Paul. So we go back and forth across the room. I know I can always turn to global studies and change, so I'm working other parts of the room. I'm not sure.
Hi, I'm Fatima Mozola. I peer teach for Dr. Harner's Cultural Globalization class.
Name, where you're from, major, professor, and of course.
Okay, so I'm from Valley Stream, Long Island. I am majoring in geography with a minor in biochemistry. And I teach cultural globalization, and I really love it because I took the class as a freshman. So coming back now as a senior and teaching the class has been really enlightening and seeing all the freshies. But seeing them, like, it's a very introductory course, and now going back and like taking all the advanced level courses, I have a lot of fun too, which is great.
So you get to walk down memory lane. Okay, that's a nice way of thinking of it. Well, great, thank you. Anybody else? Okay.
Hello, good morning. My name is Elizabeth Juarez. I am a third-year student. I am a community health and psychology major, and I am a peer teacher for a framework and design class as part of the Department of Health Science. So essentially, it's just a fancy way of saying it's a research class. So this is actually the second semester I am a peer teacher for that class, which is great. It has given me like a lot of just experience and really learning about research. And I think with learning, having different sets of students now, it's just like really gives me like an insight, and I feel really helps me help them better, because my involvement as far as the class goes is more towards halfway point of the semester when they begin doing their own research proposal projects, and that's when I really come in and start helping them with generating ideas and looking for peer-reviewed articles and really knowing how to word their assignments and their hypotheses, their research questions. And I think it just really helps me as well. As a psych major, I'm also taking my own research process, and
Well, that's great. That's very interesting to hear how your work on one level parallels their work on a level you're no longer at. And so you're working side by side in a way that reinforces your skills. So, excellent. Let's see. Anybody? From the sciences?
I'm Maureen Krause from biology, and I'm here with my teacher, Zach Zimmerman, and a couple other biology teachers. And I teach Bio 11, and I have 72 people in my lecture section this semester. And it's a very intense course, and so this semester in particular, without Zach, it would be really hard to run the workshops, so we do a lot of hands-on activities in class. And one of the things he does is help run around and administer the workshops and answer questions and prepare materials, hands-on materials, and then we need some review sessions from you because we can't possibly always answer all of their questions during regular office hours. So it's been a big help, and this is the second time he's done it for me. So he knows the ropes, and it's really been great.
That's interesting. Now, we've had 2 comments in a row on student-teacher relationships that have repeated, which is interesting for us to hear. It gets more beneficial. I guess you get better at it. So, right? And Maureen, you're lucky to have a very high energy peer teacher who is eloquent and energetic, right? Oh, I didn't know you had a shy side, Zach. It is not very convincing. Well, we'll come back. Which tables have anybody? After global studies, my default. Let's see what you're working on.
Hi, my name is Holly Galpern. I'm a peer tutor for comparative literature. It's a first-year seminar on demon cells and self-destruction. And it's a study on various texts and how people can use like the church or themselves as vessels for destroying either their society or internals. And it was really hard. A challenge I faced was it was really hard to integrate myself into a first-year seminar because I'm also like a first-year student, so it's a little hard to kind of work at a peer tutor level while also being a peer. But like over the course of the course, I found it easier to be available to them to students as a resource and as a, I guess, bridge between the professor and the students, because in the literature it's really hard sometimes to vocalize your questions, but I recognize what kind of questions might come up throughout.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Let me ask, do all of you as peer teachers feel that the students are less reluctant or more confident of speaking to you than to the professor at times because they're going to be less intimidated, even though we know all of our professors are very accessible, friendly, and supportive. They have a different base of knowledge, which students might be intimidated by. So, Juliana, I see you nodding your head. Maybe you can comment on that, because that's a very valuable function, especially first-year students who haven't been at the university, and there's a difference between university professors and high school teachers. They don't know them for years, and so they might be reluctant to speak with her.
Yeah, so I'm Juliana. I'm teaching for Dr. Sass Intro to Global Studies, and I've definitely found they like talking to me because I've taken the class, so I can sort of give them more insights, and they definitely reach out to me sometimes as a liaison between them and Dr. Sass. But it's definitely been super rewarding because I remember when I was a freshman, and I remember my peer teacher for the class, and I really thought she was some sort of amazing, like all-knowing Not kidding. I literally said, she seems so cool, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, is that me? But I don't think I'm quite as cool as she was. But yeah, it's been super rewarding, so thank you for this.
Okay. I like that. We have to change the name of the program to the All-Knowing God and God is First program. And we're not disputing that character. Okay.
Hi, I'm Andrea at PU. I teach in writing studies and rhetoric. I'm the director of the Writing Center. So I have the wonderful privilege of having Nicole Pinocchio as my peer teacher for the course that trains undergraduate students to be peer tutors in the Writing Center. And your question made me think about how I often get students asking me questions about the logistics of tutoring, like time management, managing certain issues in session. And the older I get, the more distance I get from the act of tutoring, I'm in this position to say, why don't you talk to Nicole about that? And they always do, and the conversation always ensues. So Nicole's able to much better answer questions most of the time than I am in class. And I'm grateful for that, so thank you.
Well, it's good to have that resource. And you find that students ask you about writing, or in which ways do you help them most commonly and concretely? Is it writing? Is it lab techniques? Is it just encouragement?
Hi, my name is Deanna Bruce. I'm a third year design major with minors in computer science and film. I'm here teaching for one of Professor Klingelstein's design courses. It's called Design for iPhones and Smartphones and iPads. And in this class, I feel like a lot of the students do come to me with software-related questions. So I'll show them a lot with Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, a lot of the Adobe Cloud creative programs. And if they're a little unsure of how to approach the professor about it, I feel like they'll ask me directly because they know I was in this position last spring when I was taking these classes, and a lot of the software I made actually have like more tools than the professor currently does because I've been using them more recently too. So I think a lot of that does help that we're still in the student position, so we are still learning. So we can kind of bring in knowledge from other courses, especially with all these design classes. As you know, most of the students, we tend to take a lot of classes together because we do have a pretty strict program of what is required. So I think they do kind of lean towards me with that also.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very interesting perspective as a bridge to the younger generation. We need that. You guys are woke and we aren't. And so, okay, that's it. No, that's interesting. For a class where students are allowed to look at their screens and want to speak to professors, that's amazing. That's great. And you know, so excellent. So other comments on what you do? Okay, I'm coming back to this again. This is such a big target. Okay. You ready, Zach?
Right now.
Well, maybe you know what?
All right, so as I'm sure we've all realized now, my name is Zach. I'm a biology major, and as Dr. Krause said, I've been working with her in intro to cell biology and genetics. And while we haven't sort of run into the bridge between generations, we have run into a really interesting dialogue between her and I, and then myself and the students. And so we get, like, I get questions from students, and I'll answer them in the way that I see it, and we'll talk about it and I'll realize, oh, there's another way of looking at it, and it's ambiguous. So it opens this dialogue between her and I, and also myself and students, to look at new ways to think about these concepts that seem black and white but aren't really black and white. So it's been a really interesting opportunity, especially working with her the second time around, to see how the curriculum has changed based on these conversations we've had.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. That was very helpful. It introduces a notion of sort of triangulation of a dialogue, so that it's not just sort of binary back and forth between professor and student, but has a third party who is a more advanced student, and so it gives it a certain depth and range, and so that's a good aspect. Anybody here?
Hi, I'm Catherine Henson. I here assist introductory culture and anthropology class for Professor John Schulis, who unfortunately isn't here today. But what I do a lot with the students is I help them with pretty much clarifying any of the theories or methodologies we go over in class, because for a lot of these students, it's an introductory class. This is the first time they've taken anthropology or social science in general. And for a lot of them, there's a distribution course. So like yesterday, for example, I had a student walk up to me with like fear in her eyes. She was like, I'm an accounting student. I don't know how to write like this. I was like, it's okay, calm down, it's fine. So I'm there for students to like bounce ideas off of me, really interpret or like translate what the professor wants into like terms that an introductory student can understand. And it's been really rewarding for me because oftentimes we'll have the open dialogue being in the classes after watching documentaries or things like that. And I've been really impressed with some of the ideas some of the introductory students have put forth, because this is a class I've taken before. I've taken multiple classes like this. And it's really interesting to be able to kind of stay on the other side of the classroom and still be intrigued by what these students have to say. Even though I'm in a position where I'm helping them and kind of helping them learn, I'm also learning from them as well.
Oh, that's interesting. It sounds very rewarding because you're now seeing the whole process from the perspective of the professor. You've crossed over to the other side of the line without abandoning the fact that you're a student also, but you can sort of gauge the distance you've come. So thank you. That's very, very interesting. Anybody here? Everybody's looking at their samples. And they're not even there anymore. Okay.
Hi, I'm Kari Jensen from Hofstra Geography. I'm very lucky to have Emmy back as my peer teacher for geography for the second semester. And I'm also doubly lucky because I have another peer teacher, because I'm also teaching a freshman seminar, a child paper. And so I have Lydia and Clara doing that. And both of them are excellent peer teachers, and I definitely feel that they are able to bridge that gap that was just raised between faculty and students. And I'll say that I feel that they have brought also some, it's not only a feeling, it's actually a fact, they have brought some new topics into the courses because they have had new ideas, and I think Emily particularly has made me a little bit more courageous in bringing up topics that can be quite controversial. So, you know, within human geography we have a segment called political geography, and that's kind of where Emily Beck finds herself with, you know, peace studies and conflict resolution and so on. So that has become a more prominent part of the course than it used to be. And both of them are giving a guest lecture each in my class, and Emily is also leading a deliberative dialogue on food issues, our global food system. And yeah, it's just very, very helpful. It makes my teaching job much more inspiring and engaging.
Oh, that's very interesting, Carrie. The fact that the peer teachers can sort of galvanize the professors to move in areas where they might not be predisposed toward moving, addressing different topics or connecting with sort of different horizons of technology or awareness. And so, as we were saying, it's transformative not just for the peer teachers, but for the professors also, because it sort of challenges indirectly, and maybe directly, what a professor might have been doing from semester to semester. So fascinating. Do you find peer teachers that students ask you a question about writing or you know, the content of the class in some way, and then you get talking about other things? Do you mentor them? Like, do they ask you, where do you find this? Or what clubs have you joined on campus? And you end up sort of off track just because you're in a position where they have access to an upper, a student who's sort of been around the block on campus. And do they seek general advice at all from you as all-knowing gods and goddesses? I mean, once you're in that position, you know, a lot of responsibility comes with that. Did you have?
urbanization in the developing world. And when I held my review session for like our midterm, I had like all my notes and I had like other notes like some friends had given me like about the class. And a student asked me about like a certain theory, and I just like kept rambling on because I had so much information. I didn't even like think to like look at my notes. I felt so prepared from like my mentor that she just gave me all this information about not even just like specific things, like concepts in general. And there's a lot of, it's like not an upper level course, but like you can take it as a distribution, or like I took it because I'm a geography and global studies major. So a lot of students who are those majors ask me like what my future classes were like, and if this theory or like this concept like carries throughout, and it definitely does. And it was a very rewarding experience because I was able to like take what I am learning in my own classes and apply it to like everything, which I thought was really cool.
Very interesting, thank you. So basically, what your relationship to them goes beyond the specific course, and you're sort of modeling the trajectory of a major and beyond. And you used the term rambling on, but you were speaking very well. But if you continue that passion, you're going to be a professor before you know it. I mean,
Hi, I'm Professor Jennifer Hart, and I do teach the musical theater performance class. It's an upperclassman class, so Jason doesn't have as many opportunities to get the freshmen and the sophomores involved in a lot of questions. But I also teach Drama 3, which is Introduction to Theater Arts. And we go and see 5 Broadway shows a semester, and I always have somebody to help me with that class. And that's always for freshmen and people who are getting used to our department. And we're also showing them the city, the proximity, and other things that they need to know just as a student here, and how to get the most out of their experience here. So in my Drama 3 class, we really do wrangle those students, make sure they're all talking to each other, make sure they get in and out of the city. So the peer teacher is an invaluable tool when we teach that class.
so peer teachers, in other words, help students overcome stage fright. In a broad sense.
So they help them get
Because I think that's-
involved in other activities at the drama department. They let them know that there are things happening that they can audition for, that they can be involved in. And it's always a hoop for all of them to go. There's 75 of us that go into the city to watch these shows, so I do need that assistance. But they do feel like this is somebody they can ask any freshman question of, that they don't need to go to the teacher for.
Do you find that it plays a role in them going from spectator to performer?
Oh,
Because basically in every field, that's the transition that you make in college, from sitting back and taking notes to doing your own research and then presenting it and speaking in class, which is a stage. You know.
Yes, and because we have auditions each semester, they're always asking, which should we audition with, and how can we get parts, who should I talk to, and which teacher is doing what. It's become such a large department, and we're all very inclusive with our students. We ask them to do crazy things because we're in theater. So we get very close to our students, and we really enjoy them, but we make sure that trickles down to the freshmen so that they feel included and they feel like they don't have to go very far to become included in our dramatic activities.
Okay, great. It reminds us that everyone performs research. It's still a question of performance on some level. Let's see. What time do we have? Okay, we'll leave you some. Adam, any comment? No? Any closing impressions of your experience, hurdles that you've leapt over? I stopped at talking about it, but go deeper into this table. Who's going to grab it? No? Remember what I said about stage fright? I just want to show that you got it. See, there we go, repeat.
So I think, apart from like, the knowledge and being able to help the students, I really enjoy just being able to like have my professor who I'm a peer teacher for 30 times in packet able to go meet her. And I got to meet her. She's like the best. So like, I've really developed a really close relationship with her. So I think that's the best takeaway from my end.
Well, thank you very much for raising that issue because I'm the University Fellowship Advisor for postgraduate scholarships at Hofstra or resources out there. And I help students with applications for those highly competitive, highly selective postgraduate scholarships. It's always a long shot, but you got to apply, got to get in and win, right? And that carries over to grad school. And I can tell you what matters in a letter of recommendation is if the professor can comment very concretely, specifically about your work, your academic work, your reporting, your responsibility, and being a peer teacher, you're right under the microscope of that professor, sort of week in, week out, and they can write a very detailed letter. Because when it gets down to it, all letters are positive. People don't ask negative evaluations from their professors, right? And so when a committee looks at these, it's often the length and amount of detail. It can't be overlooked, but it has to be the specific concrete detail. So all of you should think about having your peer teacher supervisors write you a letter down the line and send it for future reference. Very good practical point to keep in mind. Any other final comments? If not, we'll just let you finish lunch and continue your conversations. Well, no? Okay, well, a round of applause for all of you.